it's Cozmo from Cozmo Adventures. Thanks for joining us. Check out our new project and how we started it.
Oh, Jesus. Oh. Well, that bag just ripped. That ripped? Shoulder strap just ripped. Oh, shit. And well, we can always drop back and just pare it down to one.
Looks like we're paring down to one.
Looks like we're paring down to one. All right, no worries.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us for this little bit here. Yeah, that's never a good way to start a day, if you will. Thank you for joining us. This is basically our kickoff of our new project with Seams and I, and a few other people to yet be named at this point. And what the project is, Gator Spring. So what you're going to say is, what is Gator Spring? Well, Gator Spring is interesting. You can find it on maps. It'll be listed. It'll show you where it's at. Not very many people go there. As you'll see, as we'll show you, there's reasons why. So where is Gator Spring? Well, Gator Spring is in the Chassahowiska Wildlife Management Area. So, for no further ado, let's start going down this trail of discovery, exhaustion, and I don't know, pure dumb luck, I guess. Sometimes we need it. Please bear in mind, my doggy is running around, all Nate, and if you know Nate, it's Nate. So you might hear him in the background. So let's get to it. All right. So what we got here?
That's editing later.
So we started at the trailhead, which is the parking lot of Eagle's Nest. Please don't see where I put the hide a key at. I might have to change my hide a key location now. Yeah, this is where we started. Old Seams and I, gearing up. He's got a full pack. I've got I don't know, I would say a quarter pack, just based on the fact that I broke my my strap, so I had to pare it down a little bit. So this is us hopping up a little trail, if you will, trying to figure out where we wanted to kind of go in and actually get into the actual forest / swamp. I did this a couple years ago, and it was less vegetation because it hadn't been too long after the last burn in this area. So it wasn't too bad, but now it's really overgrown, really healthy. So we had to basically hack our way in and use a chainsaw to get us there, so on and so forth. A lot of fun, really exhausting. So let's talk about a little bit of what is Chassahowiska Wildlife Management Area. So Chassahowiska is a Indian name. I believe, I might be wrong, is the Indian name for where you hang pumpkins. I guess they would grow their own, the Seminoles would grow their own pumpkins in the area, and they would hang them as they're growing on the trees, the cypress trees, if you will, which were inundated all through here. I guess to keep the animals away. The property itself is right off of Highway 19. Like I said earlier, just north of the Weeki Wachee Spring site where the mermaids do their dance in the water. It's obviously a wildlife management area, duh. But what you can do here is they've really fostered and really worked on trying to allow the natural environment to grow back and try to get healthy and everything. But what you can do here is you can go hunting during the different hunting seasons here. Big game, small game. You can I guess from what I understand, there's a bunch of bird watching groups that'll actually show up and hike around and look at different birds that are in this area. Also, there are hiking trails that you don't have to sit here and butcher your way through. The property itself has quite a few different springs on it, but there are a few very popular springs. Two examples that are dove quite a bit, and that would be Eagle's Nest and Buford Spring. Buford Spring, it's really nice. A few years ago, they've added a boardwalk, boardwalk to the trail, if you will, because there's a nice, fire trail or emergency trail that gets you out there, but then you get to the swamp, and in the old days, you'd actually have to gear up and trample through that swamp. Kind of like what we're doing here, trying to trample through this area of the forest/swamp. But this distance to get out to Gator Spring is a lot farther than the old Buford. Buford, it's great. You can it's great for free diving training, anything over advanced training there. There is a rock overhang at 130 feet that will change it from a cavern to a cave. It's a really big ballroom, beautiful. You can get a maximum of 165 feet, maximum depth. You can go a little deeper, but you have to bring a shovel. It's kind of frowned upon, but you never know. You never know what you can find.
It goes that way.
But it's a really great place to go. It's very popular now that the boardwalk's there. And then also you have Eagle's Nest. Eagle's Nest is on the more southern part of the park, if you will. It's interesting in the fact that basically for us cave divers, it's kind of like the Mount Everest of cave diving right here, where literally you have a short, I don't know, maybe 50 or 70 feet walk to the water, and another, another 70 feet to swim to the hole, to where you can get in 140 feet of water at the top of the mound within seconds, and then you can get on either end of the tunnel, the room, to both sides tunnels, upstream and downstream side. There's plenty of videos of this stuff that you can get down to 200 feet, and then the actual system has a maximum depth of 310. So it's real dangerous, real fast. It's not for the average novice diver. I don't condone anybody going in there unless you are cave trained or cavern trained. It's a little above the cavern trained diver, if you will, just because of the depth that you are at. It's so big, you can't see either side of the cavern. A lot of the tunnels, the caves are so wide that your light doesn't go to the other side. But it's beautiful, it's challenging. I love diving it, but it's not for everybody. Now, where are we going? Oh, on this wonderful trek out in the woods, in through the swamp. We're going out to Gator Spring. Gator Spring.
Did I go the hard way?
Cut. Back that up. Start with here. Going back to what Chaswiska really is yeah, it's got these springs on there. You can go stuff. You can do stuff, day stuff there. You can go hunting there, hiking there. You can even kayak and all that kinds of good stuff. But what went down on this site? So it's kind of interesting. This site is that back in our early days of being knuckleheads, someone figured out that there's a big abundance of cypress trees in this area. And what do? I don't know. Let's cut them down. So this site, Chaswiska, became a town called Centrella? And it grew up around this sawmill that was built in 1910. It was the largest then, and to this day, largest sawmill that's ever been built and operated in the world. Didn't last very long. It actually became unprofitable in 7 years. So they clear cut this forest in 7 years, and they had nothing else to cut, so they basically, you know, packed everything in and left. You know, it's kind of like a boomtown of the, you know, the gold era, but in the tree era, if you will. And the town at one point had over 1,500 residents. They actually had their own post office. The post office actually closed in 1922, so it actually lasted a little bit longer until there was not enough people to hang out. Let's see here, eventually closed. Yeah, the property is really unique. You know, they've done a great job of bringing back the wildlife and fostering and ushering conservative, if you will, for this area. And like I said, you could go hunting here, you could go hiking here, you can cave dive here, and then some. Oh, we already talked about that one. All right. So, like I said, there's a lot of no-name springs on the site. And then there's these 4 that are actually named. The 2 big ones are Eagle's Nest and Brewfjord. And then there's the 2 that nobody ever goes to, and that is Gator Spring and Eagle Eyes. Or not Eagle Eyes, excuse me, Snake Eyes. It's quite interesting, as you can see, as we're hacking through this forest here. It's not for the faint of heart. This trip on our way out here, it took us under 2 hours to get there. It was quite the trek. It was a lot easier this time. I had somebody else with me. Last time it took me about 2 hours by myself. Less vegetation. However, it was exhausting. This time it was a little bit easier. We took turns taking the lead, hacking and chopping and, you know, chainsawing, if you will. We thought we were going to come back the same way. That's why I brought the chainsaw also to help with the bigger stuff to get through. But as you'll see, or as we talk about later, we didn't go back the same way. It was too far. It was interesting. The farther you go in, the more water you start hitting. It's not everywhere. There's little lulls and stuff here and there. Most of the time, the water is really only ankle deep, but you do hit. You'll hit a hole where you'll go all the way down to your knee. Quite interesting, quite funny, or hilarious. After you figure it out, you're not going to die. But it is definitely interesting. So as we trek out there, killing ourselves, hacking through here. It's interesting going through there. Every so often you'll actually see some really big cypress stumps from when they actually cut them down. They're huge. They're huge. And there's pictures somewhere. I'm going to try to dig them out, and I'll post it in some of these videos because this is going to take more than one video to do this project. But they actually had railroad. They actually had to load these trees and stump or the actual logs on the railroad cars. They're so freaking big. Some of the logs were so big that it barely fit one of them on a car. That's how big in diameter they are. It's kind of a shame. No, it is really a shame. They just basically clear-cutted it in 7 years. They were done, gone. Forget about it. Let it all grow back and call it a day. However, we didn't go out there. There are still some remnants out in the area of some of the old equipment, if you will. There's a concrete trough thing where they used to drag the logs into the log mill. There's some remnants of some foundations and stuff like that throughout the property. But the environment, or I should say, Mother Nature takes things back really, really fast. Especially down here in Florida, in the swamp, it really takes back its stuff. Takes its frisbee and goes home, if you will.
Oh, thorns.
Yeah. Good old, wait a minute. There we go. Got a couple saws in there. Yeah.
So once we got out to Gator Spring, I set up a pad, a foundation, if you will, of some flat. Maybe it was an old stump at one time, now full of leaves and dirt and dust and everything else. Made a little platform, threw a tarp down so that we can at least work from, not working out of the mud, if you will. We get old seams all dialed in and suited up. And as you can see, it started raining on us, which was cool because it kept the temperatures down. Last time I was out here, it was sunny. It was about the same time of year, but it got up into the higher 80s in the sun. It just killed me. This time it was a lot cooler. Made it a little bit easier and more refreshing to get it out there. And so got old Seams to get old geared up. He won the coin toss to get in first and check it out. I didn't have my gear. If you remember at the beginning of this, my bag broke, so I couldn't bring all the heavy stuff like another tank and regulator and my razor BCD that I use for this kind of stuff. The dive right works pretty well, but it's just not quite as small as my razor is. So as you can see here, Seams is actually on a log gearing up, and to the right of him there's actually one round like sink area that he's going to explore first, and then farther off in the distance there you can see like another rounded area where that's going to be his second spot he's going to look. So in the first, this is called the sink area, the first sink area, Seams is able to find a few vents. He said they were flowing a little bit, not a lot, but it was fairly clear. You can see in the video, it's pretty stirred up. This is actually after, let's see here, this is the, I think this is the one where, this is actually the second, yeah, this is the second sink. Hold on. We're going to stop and go lower again. Then take this, I'm going to put it over there. Put you, no. There we go. Don't go too far. God damn it. Just, there we go. Just want to go a little. All right. Yeah, so Seams on the first sink area, he was able to locate a few vents. Don't really have any video of that, but there is some, you can actually poke yourself in there about, I don't know, 10 feet into each one of the vents. And at the bottom, it looks like it's all just filled in with debris, that kind of stuff. But you can actually see some limestone walls. It's kind of interesting. So it's definitely a vent that flows, but you just can't get into there. And then after that, he cruised over to the second sink area, if you will, which is actually a lot bigger, actually, than the first one in diameter. And he actually found a hole. Now, we don't know if this is the hole, but we think it's the hole. And he went down a ways, about 20 plus feet into the hole. Just got darker and darker. He actually saw a ledge, and this video here, I think, is the fallout of the gator getting spooked that was sitting on the ledge as he went down in there. It was, he said it wasn't that big, 3 or 4 feet, I guess, which is cool. They call it Gator Spring for a reason, I guess. Gator done. But it stirred it up and everything. So he poked around for a little bit, and then he poked around the whole spring area, if you will, the sink area of that hole. And it's pretty big. There is a lot of fish in there. The fish actually come right up to you because they have never seen anybody before. So you are the new thing in the water that they're very curious about. And the gators are curious too. And after, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, 45 minutes, as you saw, Seams didn't have any exposure protection. The water is 68, 70 degrees, somewhere in there. So it's cold, gets cold after a while. So it was my turn. I was all excited to get in, check this thing out. We swapped gear. I got his dive right harness on, threw on the old LP50, and jumped in. And so unfortunately I don't have any video of what I did. Knucklehead here didn't think about, holding it in my hand and turning it on, just clipped it off. I figured if I'd find something cool, I would take the time and, document it. Bad move. The reason to say it was a bad move is because I went into the spring vents that Chris had seen. I poked my head down in there. Very cool. Get down to down to the bottom. I wasn't really squeezing in. I could actually flail my hands around if I wanted to, my arms around. It was that wide. I went down past my waist, so it was 3 or 4 feet. The bottom, like I said, was filled in with sticks and mud and all that kind of other stuff. I didn't really see or feel any flow, but I didn't wait too long. If it was flowing, it was really little. But everything had cleared up since Seams was in there. So that was pretty cool. And interesting enough, as I was coming out of the hole, right? I was coming out of the hole, and I kind of went in like so, checked it out, and I was coming up, just kind of backing out like this, and I got level with the bottom. To my left, I saw silt. I'm like, I didn't silt anything out. I had my head in the hole. My fins were, up in the water column. There's no way I could have silted that out. And I kind of didn't pay too much attention to it. No, cool, let's check out this other vent. And I kind of cruised over the other vent, kind of looked down, and then I kind of looked over to where that silt was, like, wait a second, there's more silt. It's coming this way. I looked in the hole, and something told me to look again. I looked again, and the snout was sticking out of the silt. And the silt and the snout was coming towards me, right? And it had to been, I don't know, 15 feet away. And the old vacuum cleaner is telling me I need to check the dustbin. So the Gator had to have been 15 feet away at least. The water was actually pretty clear until we silt, this Gator silted it up. But this Gator snout had to have been, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet tall on the snout, about 10 inches wide, just sticking out of the silt. And I screwed up. I should have got my camera out and started filming them. But no, what went through my head, we're in Gator Spring, in the middle of a swamp, nowhere near where we can get help. I'm going to go to the surface because at some point I'm not going to be able to see him. And that's when it gets dangerous, at least for me. So you've never seen Cozmo get out of the water so fast. I've been with sharks and other things, other gators, and for some reason this one just kind of spooked me just because it was just eerie, sticking its nose out, coming to check me out. Next time I am filming it. I want proof. But all in all, it was cool. I hightailed it back to shore. I actually sat with my, in the water for another 15-20 minutes, just sitting there talking, waist deep of water, the most dangerous place to be with gators and sharks. Okay. So I wasn't too scared about it, but it spooked me to get up to the surface. After that, we decided, we got out here. It took us 2 hours, been, tooling around here for about almost another 2 hours. We decided, it's time to start heading back. Our reserves and our reserve tanks are starting to get a little low.
That was very clutch,
all the exertion getting out of here. So we started, decided, okay, we're gonna go a different way back, but we're gonna hit Snake Eyes all the way. It's kind of a little bit more of a beeline back to the road, back towards Eagle Nest where we went. Originally, Seams wanted to see a prairie area, and it ended up being a prairie area at the moment. It's really grown up with a lot of that stuff you saw, all the vegetation that we're hacking through. But decided to go check out Snake Eyes. Very cool. And we get out there, and lo and behold, there's a reason we call certain things. Well, as soon as we get there, right there on the ground, hanging out with a cottonmouth. So we got gators in Gator Springs, we got Snake Eyes in Snake Eyes, spring. But what they really call a snake eye spring is that there's actually two holes that are fairly separate looking. So they look like two eyes, if you will. And the theory or the rumor is that you can get in at Gator Spring, and Gator Spring will get you to Snake Eye Spring, and Snake Eye Spring will in theory get you some point to Eagle's Nest. Supposedly it's been done. I don't know. We're going to try it. Eventually we're going to get there. All right. So, checked out Snake Eyes, and it's pretty cool. It was interesting. We didn't get our cameras out very much. The longer we're out here, the more tired we get. The less likely we think about getting our cameras out. So I have a couple stills here. Got a little stuff from Seams' phone. Very cool. We both straddled two of the logs that were over one of the holes, if you will, and it actually looked like it went very deep. Video and pictures really don't do it very well, you know, because of all the reflections you get, and just because how black and how dark the bottom is. It just starts. It's reminding me of the old days, even at Jenny Springs, when we went in certain areas. You know, 25 plus years ago. There was areas that, you know, was still very dark. The walls were very dark because side mount diving didn't really take off yet. And the ones that were doing it were the lunatics at the time. And I'm a card-carrying lunatic now. So it just reminds me of that, and it reminds me of like when you get out past Hinkle, where the limestone at Jenny Springs, you know, go all the way out there to Hinkle, and you get past Hinkle, and the rock, the limestone is like what I remember in some of these areas where it's really fragile. You don't want to touch it, right? But and it's real crumbly. So you really have to think about where you're going to pull and glide, how you're going to do this, so that you don't damage the cave with, you know, everybody in the world touching everything. You only touch the same spots that have been touched before, to try to protect it. So that's what it, you know, kind of reminds me of. Like when I stuck my head in that one vent hole, that limestone was that fragile, really like crumbly. You barely touch it. It kind of crumbles as you look at it. It crumbles. So very promising. We got back in about 45 minutes because we just kind of like made a beeline straight out. We hit a prairie where the last time I was out there, I actually saw a lot of snails, really big monster snails. You know, the kind of size you'd see like on an escargot platter, if you will. My wife said I should grab a whole bunch. I didn't see a whole bunch this time because of it's really kind of grown up this time. And we had basically hacked through, I'm trying to think of the name of it, but it's that grasses that grow real tall, that the edges of them are real sharp, it'll cut you. The name is escaping me at this point, but I'll figure it out. I'll let you guys know. We'll get some video on it. I screwed up. I saw a stick bug out there that was mating. It was pretty cool. It was weird because the one bug would look very, very healthy, and then the other, its mate, looked like it was withering because it was getting its life force sucked out of it. It was pretty cool. I screwed up, didn't take a picture of it, didn't take a video of it. Maybe next time or sometime we'll see another one out there. Very cool stuff. Kind of doing a lot of ranting and raving about this trip out there. But what we saw out there is very viable. This is going to be a project that we're going to be doing going forward. It was a lot of fun just to get out there and see it. But we are planning to do quite a few trips out there to work out the logistics on how we can do this safely. Supposedly the Gator spring proper part of the system supposedly gets down to 187 feet. And like I said earlier, it eventually does get the eagle's nest, so then you can actually give it that 310 foot mark if you want. But somebody has
wait a minute.
dove it, and we have a couple of reports that they've replaced 800 feet of line in there at some point. So there's supposedly some line in there. We're going to find out. We're going to try to link both Gator Spring to Eagle Eye, or I keep wanting to call it Eagle Eye, to Snake Eyes, and then eventually Snake Eyes to Eagle's Nest. And with our ultimate end goal, hopefully if Seams get a rebreather, would be to make the whole traverse from Gator Spring to Eagle's Nest. Don't know if we're going to totally physically be able to do it, or if we have enough money to do it. That's a lot of helium. That's a lot of, just logistics of just getting out to Gator Spring, doing setup dives in Eagle's Nest. I think it's going to be really cool. We're going to need help. So if you would like to try to help, and we can help a lot of different ways. You don't have to do the diving. You could just do carrying. You could be hacking. You could just be the logistics of helping pay for some of the gases. Or you could just be, moral support. Just, hey, give us a comment, give us a heads up. Hey, we like what you guys are doing. And if you want to see more of Cozmo Adventures, of me and my buddies, trampling through, woods and water and whatnot, and a little bit of bear making. I got to get on the bandwagon with that. Hit that subscribe, hit the likes. We'd love to have you give us some, feedback, what you like, what you don't like, and really hope you enjoy. And so, until next time, get out, be safe and get out diving. Boy, that was a lot. That really was a lot. Let's see how it works.